Passion for worship, 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 passion for worship.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen. Amma ba'd, fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaytanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. As-salatu wassalamu alayka ya Rasulallah. As-salatu wassalamu alayka ya Habiballah. As-salatu wassalamu alayka ya Nabiyallah. Wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Nurallah. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, welcome to our program Passion for Worship. Having passion for worship is essential for all of us, as it improves our focus, boosts our spirituality, and increases the chances of being accepted in the divine court of our Rabb Azza wa Jal. Having passion for worship will help us fall in love with acts such as performing Salah, reciting durood upon the beloved Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, studying Islamic knowledge, giving zakat, performing Hajj and Umrah, and much more. In this series, we discuss different acts which can help us attain the love, pleasure and closeness of Allah Azza wa Jal. And in today's episode, we will be talking about the 5 daily prayers. These 5 daily prayers are obligatory upon every sane adult Muslim. And inshallah Azza wa Jal, in today's episode, we will be increasing our passion or trying to increase our passion for performing these prayers. For some individuals, that may mean that we are increasing the passion to start performing these prayers. And for some individuals, it may mean we are trying to increase the passion for the quality by which these prayers are performed. Inshallah Azza wa Jal. My dear viewers, I want us to think before we start. The first thing an individual will be questioned about on the Day of Judgment is the prayer. In many places in the glorious Quran, we see the verses establish the prayer, Aqimus Salah. So by it being mentioned so often in the glorious Quran, by it being one of the main pillars of the religion, by it being mentioned so many times in the blessed hadith of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, by it being described and being told as the key to paradise, by it being told to us that is going to be the first thing that we are questioned about in the hereafter, and if we are successful in it, all the rest of the questioning will be good and easy. All of this highlights to us the importance of the prayer, the significance of the prayer, and the value of the prayer within our religion. Unfortunately, in today's society, we see the majority of Muslims are neglectful of the prayer. We are heedless about the value of the prayer. We are lazy when it comes to the performance of the prayer. Unfortunately, the quality of the prayer is such that physically we are in the prayer, but our minds are somewhere else. Or we are physically in the prayer, but the ruku and sujood is not in the correct manner. My dear viewers, inshallah, by the end of today's episode, we hope to attain such a passion that we are enthusiastic regarding the prayer. We become those people who perform it in the correct time. We become those people who never miss our Salah. We become those people who perform Salah in a manner by which it is supposed to be performed. And we become those people by which we will be saved in the hereafter because of our prayers, inshaAllah Azza wa Jal. I want to start by mentioning one incident which shows to us the great sin of being lazy when it comes to prayer and the punishment which this can attract in the grave. It is mentioned, Sayyidina Amr bin Dinar rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh has said, a sister of a person died in Madinatul Munawwara. So after her funeral rites were done and she was buried, her brother went back to his house, but then he remembered that he had left some dinars in the grave, so he can get the dinars, the money back out. He removed a brick to see the state of his sister inside the grave, and what he saw was a blazing fire. So he quickly put the brick back, covered the grave, and went back home. When he got to his house, he asked his mother, "What actions did my sister used to do?" The mother replied, "Your sister used to offer her salah after the stipulated time of that salah." So your sister used to miss her prayer and perform it later outside of the stipulated time of that prayer. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, what do we learn from this short parable? How delaying the prayer and not performing it within its correct time can attract and bring about punishment in the grave. May Allah Azza wa Jal protect us and make us from amongst those who are not punished in the grave. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, it is said that whoever is lazy in his prayer, he is far from the mercy of Allah Almighty. Whoever dies in such a state that he was neglectful and lazy of his prayer, he will be resurrected and meet his Lord in such a state that the wrath of his Lord, the wrath of Allah Almighty will be upon him. It is mentioned that the individual who is lazy in his prayer will be sent and punished fire of hell in such a valley which is called Ghai. And that valley has been described as being the most fierce part of the hellfire, the lowest part of the hellfire. In that part of hell, in Ghai, the valley which is called Ghai, there is a well called Hub. And when the fire of hell will be close to being extinguished, Allah Azza wa Jal will open that well and it will return to its normal condition again. So there are many categories of people who will be punished in this part of the hellfire. But one of those categories of people is that individual who is lazy and neglectful of his prayer. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us from those who are not neglectful of the prayer. Now, my dear viewers of Madani Channel, I want us to think there are many punishments mentioned regarding those individuals who are lazy in their prayer. We have all heard about the punishments of the grave. We have all heard about the hellfire as well. But why is it still that Muslims are neglectful of the prayer? My dear viewers, the prayer is one of the fundamental pillars of our religion. My dear viewers, we see that at the time of Fajr, the Muslims around the world are asleep and neglectful of the morning prayer. At the time of Zohar, at the time of Asr, at the time of Maghrib, we see that the Muslims are busy in the world and neglectful of these prayers. We see they're either busy in schools, colleges, universities, or in the workplace, or within their businesses. And then when it comes to the Isha prayer, they are tired because of their worldly duties and they are fast asleep. My dear viewers, remember, our lives revolve around the prayer. The prayer does not revolve around our lives. The prayer is the fundamental focus of our lives, and everything we plan in our days should be based around the prayers. The prayers shouldn't be based around our day. So if you have meetings to schedule, you should look at the prayer times first and schedule meetings outside of those prayer times, rather than looking at scheduling meetings first and then looking, right, what do I do with my prayers now? My dear viewers of Madani Channel, our primary focus needs to be our prayers. It is mentioned that the lightest punishment in the fire of hell will be an individual who is made to wear shoes of fire, and his brain will be boiling because of that. Well, my dear viewers, just think. We have heard the punishments of the grave, that an individual will either be squeezed in such a manner that it is like a mother cuddling a baby, or in such a manner that it will be that his two ribs are crushed together and interlocked. Dear viewers, we've heard that the lowest or the easiest or softest part or punishment in the hellfire is that individual who will be made to wear shoes of fire. My dear viewers, our weak, feeble bodies cannot bear pain or suffering in this world. If somebody hugs us too tight, we struggle to breathe. If we stand on a piece of Lego with our bare feet, we cannot handle it, it causes us pain. If there is boiling water or hot water or tea poured over us or spilled near us, it leaves us with pain. We quickly move out of the way or try to move out of the way. If we are pricked with something sharp, we cannot handle that pain. If there are animals like scorpions or snakes or other such animals which cause fear in people, if we see those animals, we will not go near that place. But my dear viewers, just imagine, in the world we can't bear these pains or punishments. How do we think we will be able to bear the punishments of the hereafter? How will we be able to handle that squeeze of the grave? If those animals or insects are placed in our small grave, how will we be able to handle that? Where will we go? If we are made to wear those shoes of fire, how will we be able to handle it? If we are placed in the deepest part of hell, which has been mentioned, the valley of Ghayy, for that person who is neglectful of his prayer, how will we be able to handle it? My dear viewers of Madani Channel, there is no way, even for a second, we can handle it. May Allah Azza wa Jal protect us all. But, my dear viewers, we mentioned that an individual who misses one prayer, just one prayer, he is deserving of 1,000 years in the fire of hell. Now just think about that, my dear viewers. That individual who misses one prayer, just one, it's been mentioned that he is deserving of 1,000 years of punishment in the fire of hell. Just by missing one prayer, how will we be able to handle that? And we see today, in today's society, the Muslims are not missing just one prayer. It's 5 prayers a day are being missed on a regular basis without any thought about it. When people are being advised to start praying, a common answer comes back. I'll start on Friday. I'll start in the month of Ramadan. I'll start after I performed Hajj. My dear viewers, who has the guarantee that they will live till the Friday? Who has the guarantee that they will live till the month of Ramadan? Who has the guarantee that they will live to perform Hajj? So how are we as Muslims saying, that is when I will start praying? And if you look at it from the other angle, we are saying, I'm not bothered about the punishment that will be attracted by missing the Salah up until Friday. I'm not bothered about the punishment that will be attracted by missing my Salah up until the next Ramadan. I'm not bothered about the punishment that will be brought about because of me missing my Salah until I perform Hajj. No, my dear viewers, just by missing one prayer, it is mentioned that an individual becomes deserving of 1,000 years in the fire of hell. My dear viewers, we are not able to spend or bear with even a second's worth of punishment from the fire of hell. How are we so daring to say, I will miss so many prayers until the Friday comes, then I will start praying? Or how are we so daring that we are lazy and neglectful of the prayers such that, oh, I was in a meeting today so I couldn't pray. Or I was in a classroom and my teacher didn't let me out. No, my dear viewers of Madani Channel, if there is a sincere intention in the heart that you want to pray, Allah Azza wa Jal will make the means for you to pray. If you really, really have the desire in your heart to perform and establish the prayer, the doors will open for you and it will become easy for you to establish the prayer. But the key is to have that desire, that passion within ourselves to perform the prayer. If we look at our pious predecessors, if we look in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, the Sahaba, the awliya, we see even when they were in battles, they will perform their prayer. Even when they were on their deathbeds or close to their deathbed, they were performing their prayer. And we know, if you cannot perform your prayer standing up, you need to perform your prayer sitting down. And if you cannot perform it sitting down, you have to perform it lying down. What does this hierarchy of stand, sit or lie down shows? It shows us the value and the importance of the prayer. It shows us that whatever condition you are in, you cannot miss the prayer. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, may Allah Azza wa Jalla make us all from amongst those who perform the prayer regularly and in a manner that it is supposed to be performed. But so far, my dear viewers, we have talked about the punishments for those individuals who are not habitual or who are lazy in their prayer. But at the same time, where there is punishments for those individuals who miss the prayer or are lazy with their prayer, there is glad tidings and rewards for those individuals who perform the prayer in the correct time, who perform the prayer regularly, who perform the prayer in a manner that it is supposed to be performed. And may Allah Azza wa Jalla make us from amongst these people. Like it was mentioned earlier on, the first question or the first thing an individual will be questioned about on the Day of Judgment is the prayer. And where we saw that that individual who was neglectful of the prayer will struggle with the remainder of the question as well, that individual who was regular with his prayer, who was habitual in performing his prayer, who didn't miss his prayer, he will be successful at that point. He will attain the pleasure of Allah Azza wa Jal, and all the remaining questions will be easy for him, and he will be successful, and he will enter the gardens of paradise. It is also mentioned, an individual's sins are wiped out by the performing of the prayer. It is mentioned, the beloved Prophet ﷺ, he asked, if any of you has a stream in his courtyard and he performs a bath 5 times a day, will any dirt remain on his body? The companion said, no, Ya Rasulullah. The Prophet ﷺ then said, Salah washes away the sins as water washes away the dirt. May Allah make us from those who offer the prayer regularly and habitually. My dear viewers, we have deep love for our beloved Prophet ﷺ. Our Prophet ﷺ, when he was born, he remembered us ﷺ. He remembered his ummah. Throughout his life ﷺ, he would regularly do dua for us, his ummah. He would be concerned for us. Then at the time of his blessed burial, he ﷺ was remembering us. It's mentioned the companions radiallahu ta'ala anhum, or some of them, put their blessed face close to the blessed lips of the Prophet ﷺ at the time of his burial, and they could hear ummati, ummati, my ummah, even at the time of burial. Our beloved Prophet ﷺ was remembering us. Even on the Day of Judgment, we see that when everyone else will run away from one another, the Prophet ﷺ will be there for us. He will be interceding for us. The Prophet ﷺ, who remembered us, who has done so many favors upon us, who is continuing to do so many favors upon us, he ﷺ said, Salah is the coolness to my eyes. Subhanallah. Now, my dear viewers of Madani Channel, knowing that our beloved Prophet ﷺ has described this act as the coolness to his eyes, as his followers, as his lovers, we should do those acts which bring happiness and coolness to the eyes of the Prophet ﷺ, not those things which bring about harm or sorrow or pain to the Prophet ﷺ. Now, us performing our salah at the correct time, in the correct manner, what do you think? Does that bring about the happiness of the Prophet ﷺ, or does that bring pain to the Prophet ﷺ? Does us neglectful of our salah or lazy in our salah, does that cause happiness for the Prophet ﷺ or pain? May Allah Azza wa Jal make us from amongst those who always make our beloved Prophet ﷺ happy. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us from amongst those people who the Prophet ﷺ is happy with. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, I want to finish with some points regarding the excuses that people make for missing their prayer, and try to remove these excuses. Generally, the excuse that people make in today's society is that they are busy. Whether that be schools, colleges, universities, workplaces, wherever you may be, that is generally the excuse that comes. We were busy and we didn't have time for the prayer. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, our lives revolve around the prayer. The prayer does not revolve around our lives. We plan our lives by looking at the timings of the daily prayer. So if you know Fajr is at this time, we plan no other activity at this time. If we know Zuhr is at this time, we plan no meetings in our offices at this time, and so on with the other prayers. And we make sure we find time somewhere to perform these daily prayers. My dear viewers, another common excuse that comes is that I'm not pure, or that I'm not in a state of wudu, and currently there is nowhere for me to make ablution to perform the prayer. If we make it a habit to always be in the state of ablution, to always be in the state of wudu, then this excuse will be removed. And this is the main excuse that we see from the Muslims today, that when they are not in a state of purity, they're not in a state of wudu, they are neglectful of the prayer. Because the biggest trap that shaitan can play when it comes to ablution and prayer is the actual ablution, not the prayer itself. Because if a person manages to perform his ablution, then the prayer is the next step, and that is easier. He has faced and overcome the most difficult part, the most difficult trap of the shaitan, which is the initial step. The initial step when it comes to the prayer is the purity, because that is the precondition for the prayer. So if we are already fulfilling the precondition of purity, then the next step, the actual prayer, will become easier for us, and we will find it much easier to perform that prayer. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us from those who perform the salah regularly, and make us from amongst those who are not punished because of laziness in the prayer. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. My dear viewers, I want to leave you with a question. And I want you to ponder over this question. And anytime you feel like you are becoming lazy with regards to the prayer, then I want you to think about this. Inshallah Azza wa Jal, this will help us remove that laziness or neglectfulness from the prayer. My dear viewers of Madani Channel, the prayer has been described as the key to paradise. Now, generally, whenever we have a key for a place, you cannot enter that place without that key. Because if a place has a key, generally that place is locked. And it is only unlocked with a key. Now, if we are being told the key to paradise is prayer, but we are neglectful of the prayer, then how do we expect to end up in paradise? If we do not have the key to paradise with us, how are we expecting to enter into paradise? May Allah Azza wa Jal make us from those who perform the prayer regularly, who perform it in the manner that it's supposed to be performed. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us from those who perform the prayer in a manner which the blessed companions used to perform, the blessed awliya perform. Ameen bijahin nabiyyil ameen. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Passion for worship, 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 passion for worship.